Hello guys, welcome to Replay Analysis, and in today's video, we're looking at Zerg versus Terran from the Terran's perspective. Mr. VFam2, Grim Faith. Look at that Vibu symbol. Ooh, baby. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Let's help him out. Let's figure it out. He's versing a Zerg. See what he's going for. Replay analysis is basically like a coaching lesson, essentially, but instead of doing the Q&A back and forth with the student, I just kind of run with it myself, take the reins, and talk about the game, if you guys don't know how these work. So welcome. I'm going to be talking about a lot, breaking it all down. Really quickly, really fast though, Grim Faith, throw out really fast while I'm talking about this, what league you're in, just so I know, so I have an idea what I'm actually talking about. Because that way I'm not going to give you bad advice based on your league. So far, though, your build's fine. The only thing I would like you to do is stop having a 3-stack on this patch and have a 2-stack on that patch and have a 2-stack on that patch and a 2-stack on that patch. You have 2 3-stack patches on far patches and you have 3 1-stack patches. It's really bad. It's very fucking bad. It actually ruins your money like crazy. Plat 2? Okay. It's like, it's so easy to, for instance, here's a for instance. Look at these 3 SCVs right here. These 3 right there. This one on this one, and these 2 on this one right here. 2 SCVs on a far patch, 1 SCV on a close patch. It would be as simple as this. Both SCVs just turned in. Okay? You see that. Both SCVs just turned in. So if you told this SCV right now to go to this patch, he would be like stupid, and he'd be like, I can't mine it though, because he's also mining it right when I'm trying to mine it. So you know what you could do? Alternate it with the next one, and now this one could be told as soon as he turns in minerals to mine that patch. So you could go, hey, you, turn in minerals, go mine that right there. And now also on top of that, you just ripped off your SCV on the close patch and you put him on the gas. Makes it even worse, in my opinion. This is not good. You are crippled, like, you're basically, this is okay. This is the best way to say this. And people always, I swear to God, people always think this is like not a big deal. And I'm like, are you fucking nuts? Are you nuts? You have like an assembly line right now where you could have maximum efficiency. And if you have like 13 workers all doing their job, it's like you have like 6 of them on strike right now. Or like 5 of them are on strike and they're just not doing their job. They're just like fucking off and they're not actually doing anything here. Because you are not maximizing your best valued resources at all. Every one of them has 1. This one now has 2, which is good. But this one has 0 now. So effectively you have like 1 SCV per close patch, essentially, if you take the average. It's not good. And it's already over a minute in the game. This is brutal on your economy. This is just laziness. You can totally fix that. So you're doing nothing anyway. Like, what's your APM right now? You're doing fucking nothing. You could easily fix that. Okay, anyways. Your orbital command is correct. Going orbital before expansion is correct. You're going marine, though. We'll see what your build wants to look like. The fact that you're platinum, like, this could be B2GM. We'll see, right? I don't know. But yeah, marine's not a big deal. We'll see what you're going to do with it. We'll see if it makes sense as to how you go about doing things afterwards. I would say this, though. This is a huge tip, okay? Big tip. Before you even scout the base. If you're going to go marine first, blindly like this, if you're going to make like a barracks, and then you're not going to scout with an SCV before the barracks is done, it's okay. I'm not going to say that it's the worst thing in the world. However, I want you to know something. If this Zerg 12 pulls you, you can't defend this. You have to make a Reaper to be able to defend this if the Zerg goes 12 pull. So, if you're going to go Command Center first from now on, and you're going to make a Marine like you just did, this is fucking risky. I want you to make a command center on the high ground, like either right there or make it as a wall right there, and you can lift it off later and then make a depot later. Just Do not fucking make it there. Because if your SCV gets across the map and sees there's no natural, and this guy ran lings like this, his lings could be, honestly, by 146, his lings could be like right here by now. Roughly. On the map. Like a little, like getting closer to your base. Maybe even like right here, to be honest. Like somewhat close to your base, because you could be getting into your base by around like 2 minutes. And your one Marine isn't going to do shit to 6 Zerglings. And then you'll lose the command center, and you're going to be so super far behind and potentially be fucked for the game. So, anyone out there that's a Terran player, if you go Marine first, do not CC low ground against Zerg, unless you scout with a depot SCV instead of a barracks SCV, to give yourself a read as to knowing that this Zerg is fucking 12 pulling you. And even then, like, you just would still CC high ground. Like, you would just know for sure then CC high grounding would make sense. This is just risky. Like, the only way... So now, if you saw this... Okay, so let me say this. If you depot scouted and you got to a Zerg's base, and you could tell the Zerg made their hatchery around 50 seconds. 50 seconds, okay? That's the key. 50-second hatchery means that the Zerg is not 12 pulling you, okay? Then your SCV would probably get to their base instead of 150 by probably like 1 minute to like 110 if you depot scouted them. Probably like 1 minute, honestly. Or no, more like 110, 115. Let's be real. It's Terran. It's not Protoss. It's not like you have to like build the building. You don't just build it and run like a Protoss does. So you'll probably get there like at 115. Okay. And if you get there at 115 and the hatchery looks like it's about like this, like that far along, that's fucking fine. You can CC low ground now. But if there's no hatchery, you don't want to CC low ground. You got lucky this game because this guy went for hatch first. So now there's nothing going to punish you. But you literally have a hole in your build that could have already ended the game for you. Which is what we just talked about. If this guy went 12 pull, this would get killed. And you would be so far behind. And potentially run in your base and kill more SCVs than it's worth, and you might just lose the game.
Command center upgrade complete.
Doesn't a 12 pull start at like 1 minute and 20? No. That is absolutely wrong. You have 50 minerals in the game when the game starts, and you have 12 drones when the game starts. Your spawning pool starts like around 30 seconds into the game. Roughly. Doesn't it hatch? The hatch will start after you make your first lings, yeah. That's not 50 seconds though, right? That's why I told you 50 seconds is a big deal. Okay, so yeah, he's doing a standard build. You're going for reactored Hellions, it looks like. So you're not, or I mean, again, we'll see, right? We'll see what you're doing. You might just be making Marines. Vibe sounds like my teacher when I was in primary school that used to like giving the cane. I don't want to hit people with a cane. It's just sometimes people don't type the whole thing out. Because the person I just answered said, doesn't 12 pull start at like 120? And then I was like, no. And he goes, no, I mean the hatchery. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's not wrong. Like, honestly, probably like 130 even. But yeah, that's not that bad. That's way more accurate than saying the fucking spawning pull starts at 120. Try not to give people bad information here. Give me my fucking cane. Goddamn kids. Okay, so it looks like you are now going down a road of B2GM style because you're going tank with bio. You're not making SCVs. Okay, now you are. That's a little bit bad, but make sure you don't fuck that up. Make sure you make SCV right away.
Command center upgrade complete.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? That was like 5 seconds. Huge. You're also supply blocked. Huge. To be fair, you're not supply blocked yet. So not as big. Now you are. Or wait, what? Hold on. Am I looking at Zerg? No, just kidding. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Supply block's not happening. You're totally fine. Good job on the non-supply blocking. Rally your command center. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, this is fucking huge. you are wasting. So little mistakes add up to big mistakes over time. If you've ever wondered why, sometimes you die to shit when you shouldn't die to shit. You feel like you're like, well, I feel like I macroed pretty well this game, but yet I still died. How does that make any sense? Like, what else can I be doing? Is the build bad? Whatever. So far this game, you so far this game, actually I'm gonna look at fucking income. I want to see your SCV count. So far this game, you have not saturated your minerals properly at all the entire game. You just kind of let it happen however it wanted to happen, and it was really so. If you guys don't know what the term RNG means, it's just random number generator. It means it's literally just you're letting. It's like playing roulette. You're like, everything is out of your fucking fate, and whatever happens, happens. Excuse me. Whatever happens, happens, right? It's like you are not in control. It's randomness. You're letting that happen to your mineral line every game, and this was your first thing that slowed you down, which made your build set up really slow. You have probably from like the opener of the game for the first like 2 minutes, you probably have, I don't know, somewhere in the realm of like like 100 minerals to like 200, like maybe 100 to like 150 minerals down from where you could have been already, just because of that only. And then now another mistake that's happening is you're rallying every SCV continuously to your main base. And your main base, like we're talking about your main rallying to your main, and your natural is rallying to your main. And right now, your main base has, out of 27 SCVs, you have 25 of them, soon to be 26 of them in your main base, because this is your scout. And then number 27 is the only guy by himself on. All right, guys, I gotta turn off the blurb stuff. You guys are doing a little too much. I feel like this gets excessive sometimes. I paused it. All right, so you have the 26 SCVs out of 27 in your main base right now. That's so many SCVs just being wasted. So much wasted efficiency that could have been had on your natural. So these are the things that are making you fall behind, and you have 26 already in your main, and you still have your command centers both rallied to your main. Okay, you're starting to rotate them back now, which is a waste of time though, because if they go boop, boop, waste of time. You're still rallying to the main. Rally your shit differently. For the love of God, re-rally. There we go.
SCV ready. Gangway. SCV ready.
Okay, another thing you're not doing that I don't like is you're making a depot wall here. I don't know why you're doing that. Do not make a depot wall, or do not make depots in your base and skip the wall is what I meant to say. Make your depots fucking here. I don't know why you're not making depots in front of your base, because this is what's going to keep you alive from an all-in. If this guy all-ins you and you do have a depot wall, chances of you not dying are very high. If you don't have a depot wall, chances of you dying are now very high. This is a Zerg player, and he can totally rush you. Also, you want to, as we talked about many times in B2GM, you want to have your tank with vision reaching as far as depots, which keeps your tank tucked back in a safe location so it can't get picked off super easy. And then you can still get maximum range shots. You say, I saw he was going standard, so I didn't. What about this makes you feel like you don't need a depot wall? Do you think this means he's making drones? Because this does not mean he has to make drones. This Zerg player at any point in time could make masslings and attack you. This guy's gone for a speedling expand. There is nothing that says this guy has to make drones. At all. Just because a Zerg player takes a hatchery first does not mean they're not going to attack you. Like, a Zerg player can just be like, time to kill you at any point in time because they feel like it. That's just what Zerg can do. So, you need a fucking wall. Pretty badly.
Add-on complete.
You need a wall. Because these depots also do literally nothing there either. It's like zero effect. And now your tank is also sieged with fog. So you're getting inoptimal shots now, which is not ideal. Because you're like, basically, this is humongous. You want to know why this is huge for anyone out there that's like not actually thinking about shit like this? If you get attacked by like Zerglings, for instance, a Zergling, the more time you can see them, the more of a chance you can get multiple shots off before they get to your tank. But if you have less vision than max, the chance of you getting a shot off and then getting a second shot off decreases for the more fog of war you have. And with as much fog of war as you have, guaranteed your tank will only shoot once as the engage happens, shooting from range. The only way you'll ever shoot twice now is if they surround the Marines and now you're splash damaging your Marines, essentially, because you're having to shoot like close to your tank when he's on something that's not your tank, if he were to flood you. So you definitely want to maximize your vision too, to maximize killing shit before it's on you rather than while it's on you. It's a big deal. Tanks are really bad when you're getting meleeed. Tanks are really good when they're at range. Like when you're shooting things at range. You don't want to use the friendly... Like the last thing in the world you want is for your tanks to be splashing yourself with friendly fire. Wall off versus everything in platinum and below. Don't even worry about it. Worry about walls once you're in diamond. To make it really easy. Like worry about how when you should be walling and when you shouldn't be walling in Diamond League. But just for platinum and below, wall every single game. Every fucking time.
SCV ready.
But in theory, you should be walling against Protoss and Zerg, and you don't have to against Terran. But I would say just keep it easy just every fucking game. Because, I mean, the fact that you're not walling against Zerg is so much worse than if you did wall against Terran.
SCV ready.
I don't like this Rax. Right here. This Rax is very awkward. This Rax makes no sense. I do like that you took a third command center before you made a second Rax. But I don't like that you made the first Rax before you made a command center. What I want you to do is I want you to make a command center and then add 2 racks, and then make a command center and then add 2 racks, and then make a command center and then add 2 racks. In that order. Do not make a racks and delay your third because now you have another racks. This is going to start creating lopsided effects in your build of production, and it's going to delay economy. Because you see now, here's what's happening as well. If you make SCVs properly and you don't CC at the right time, you're now going to be oversaturated on this base while this base is not even done. And you don't want that either. That's not good. It means you're going to have shit mining again. And you're not making SCVs either anymore. Huge deal. You're not making them for a while here. This is a long time. This is like 20 seconds already of not making SCVs out of 2 command centers and counting. You're not making units out of anything. You are also supply blocked. Are you even making a depot? I don't know what literally what, I feel like you just went AFK. I don't know what is happening to you right now, but I would say you definitely need to pretty much always have an SCV building a depot like constantly. And ideally, you want to have an SCV pretty much after you start your 3rd command center, always building a command center for the or at least if it's not always building one, you're like making one within 30 seconds of your last one finishing, like pretty fucking close. Cuz yeah, this is rough for you. This is a humongous supply. Like you're also, here's another thing too I don't like. You're actually gas prioritizing your natural. I don't know why. Because your army is mostly going to be bio, and you're also developing economy. If we were to balance in a scale the amount of gas expenses you're going to have and the amount of mineral expenses you're going to have, it's going to be way more on the fucking mineral expense side. Depots, command centers, more racks, SCVs constantly, Marines constantly, and then all of the gas units and buildings you're going to be making and upgrades still also cost equal minerals to gas. And then your gas expenses are your tanks, your upgrades, and your medevacs. and then add-ons whenever you have a building, but those are super cheap overall. Add-ons are extremely fucking cheap. It's like barely even worth mentioning. It's very, 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 very cheap. So you're doing a gas priority right now, and you're also supply blocked with no increased production of economy, and you're gonna have some lopsided resources going forward now, because you're gonna have a harder time now affording things like SCVs, depots, keeping these buildings running constantly. And you're going to just have a lot of gas.
Ready for dust off.
And you're prioritizing upgrades before making a depot. Like, you are eating the longest supply block of ever. You are literally never building a depot.
Add-on complete.
And you're making more racks. Bro, you got to fucking build some goddamn depots. So, again, one SCV should be making depots forever. Make a depot, 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 make a depot. And if you ever start getting close to supply blocking, have a second SCV help and make depots for a little while. Or from like, you can have, honestly, one SCV making depots up until you're around like 80 supply. And then once you get to like closer and closer towards 100, so 80 is like a good number to probably start doing this at, because it's getting pretty close to 100 now. Start adding on a second SCV to start making 2 depots at a time. Doesn't have to be all game. It just needs to be until you have pretty much 200 supply, because your supply is going to grow at a faster and faster and faster pace when you're making more command centers, which make more SCVs. You're making more racks, which make more Marines. You're maintaining factory and starport production. You haven't maintained any production for the last like minute of this game, because you've been supply blocked the entire time. And look at that gas. You're like equaling almost. You're actually now you have more gas than minerals. This is really bad. This should never happen in your build, because your build is not mech. You're not going for like mass ravens. It makes no sense to prioritize your gas. Your build is like 70% minerals, 30% gas in terms of your expenses. You definitely need to be prioritizing your minerals. And now you're pushing. And also, do not make Marauders against Zerg this fast. This doesn't do anything. So, there's a lot of problems. Let me drink some water. My mouth is super dry. Why is my mouth so dry? Fuck. So, there's a lot of problems here. One of them is you haven't gotten a single upgrade in your tech lab. You're doing a gas priority as well, and you haven't got a single upgrade on your tech lab. No sim, no combat shield, no concussive shells. And now you're pushing with unupgraded bio, which is split between Marine Marauder, probably like 60-40 in terms, or like more like 80-20 in terms of supply investment. And you have 1 fucking tank and 2 medevacs. This attack is hot garbage. This is not at all how you want to be setting up this attack in any way. You're also completely vulnerable right now to a counterattack. If this guy, just by chance, again, this is Platinum League, so I'm not going to assume that this guy's going to scout this and then counter logically. I would say, though, there's a chance he might attack you randomly and go, I'm going to attack you right now because I feel like I'm attacking you as well. I feel like attacking right now. And then if he runs in your base, you just die. You have nothing to defend now. You have 2 siege tanks, which can't really do much without any type of a wall or support. They'll just die. They'll literally get surrounded by lings and kill each other, because tanks will kill tanks really fast. So your build is so fucking vulnerable right now. You're like asking to die. This should not be happening at all right now. This is literally 0 reason to move out like this and attack. When you attack, you should be dropping. And it's like 1 medevac or 2 medevacs max. Okay, so let's look at production during this. Are you making any SCVs? Yes, you are. Making Marines. We'll look at your army in a second here. I'll go back to it in a sec. You're making medevac. You're making like, look at all your buildings, right? Look at all your buildings. You're making Marines out of 75% of your reactor. You have, because you have 3 out of 4 Marines being made out of potential. You're making nothing out of your open 2 racks that have nothing going on. You also built them too close together, so you can't put an add-on on one of them. And you built this one too close to the cliffside, so you can't put an add-on on that one either. Which is probably something that you tried to do, and you're like, what the fuck? So be careful where you put your buildings, right? And then you're also making nothing out of your tech lab. And you're also not making a single depot, and you're supply blocking again. So, not ideal. And you also made a PF at your 3rd. Not ideal. 3 orbitals. I'm going to say, honestly, Grim Faith, definitely watch the B2GM series again. Because there's a lot of shit you're doing that's not right here. Like, there's a lot of things you're kind of taking the reins on yourself and just completely deviating to your own styles. Yeah. Like, you're doing a very, very, very diluted version of B2GM here. If that's what you're going for again. Your build has so many holes in it. Okay. So, here's a cool trick. I'll show you a trick. We'll talk about micro for 1 second. Micro for 1 second here. So, you dropping right here was actually pretty smart. Because this guy doesn't understand SimCity. Anyone, like, people, like, again, this means you don't understand SimCity very well. And this means the Zerg player does not understand SimCity very well. If you know what you're doing, and you know how to abuse people who don't know how to build a base, like, this is so abusable because he put 3 hatcheries, which take a lot of surface area, and he connected all of them, which makes a wall. Okay? Now, here's something you could have done that could have been pretty clever, and you could have won that fight super easy and potentially just won the game right now. I'm not even kidding. You could have probably won the game right now. If you took this medevac, green boxed it like that, and moved right above your other medevac, like right there. And you make an artificial wall of bio in a line that is vertical over the horizontal line of hatcheries. Look at how his Zerglings engage you. They all come from one side, and more of them come, again, from one side. If you had Marauder, Marine, and medevac in a straight line like this, only about 4 lings at a time could attack that. And 2 medevacs can easily heal through 4 marine or 4 lings worth of damage. Especially if some of the units getting hit are Marauders. So that would be a good reason why you could have Marauders in your army. That's the only good positive, because otherwise you'd much rather have Marines for more DPS, because they do way more DPS than Marauders do against shit like this. But tanking damage would be fine. But if you just made a wall that sealed off the top side of your Marines, so the Zerglings only got like one side of surface area. That's it, because they can't go through the top because your Marines block the wall, can't go through the bottom because the hatcheries block the wall, and if this guy doesn't have the foresight to split his army and disengage and go, okay, half go there, re-engage on both sides. If he doesn't do that, you could stand there and kill his lings all day. And he doesn't do that at all. He just runs everything in one side. But then you immediately evacuated, and you pieced out. Now, I would say you probably would need to evacuate once the banelings get there, for sure, because I would never say, oh, I expect you to have focus fire micro on the banelings over the Zerglings' backs and like land every shot perfectly like your name is fucking Maru. I wouldn't say that at all. Also, you don't have Stimpack either, which is making it take you forever to kill the lings here. But if you had Stimpack as well, you could have actually killed the lings before the banelings arrived, and then you would have just killed banelings by themselves. Like, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I'm just telling you that you could have done more with this drop by a lot. With how this game was going. This drop could have done a lot more than it did. Another thing you could have done that could have been really clever is you could have put your tank right fucking there. And you could be shooting the banelings or shooting the Zerglings as in clumps as they try to engage you. And it would, again, weaken a lot of the Zerg. Because the tank is going to shoot whatever is closest to him, which is going to be the Zerglings in the back of the clump of lings. Like this tank, if the tank was sieged right there, it would shoot like that ling right there. Now, you're macroing a medevac, and now you are actually macroing nothing. Okay, so now you're macroing again for a second, so I'm proud of you for starting to macro again. But for a while, you didn't macro shit. And now you're flying into a queen, so you're going to die. So, here's my answer to what we just saw. in the first place, you shouldn't even be doing this drop, like I said from the very beginning, because this was not worth it. You don't know how to read a situation as well as you would like to maximize damage that you're looking for. And you, in my opinion, just kind of wasted a bunch of units. And you didn't really get ahead in the game by doing that. I wouldn't say you got massively behind in the game either by doing it, because the Zerg player is also not macroing during the whole process of you attacking him like this. But you could have done drops in a different way that we actually do in B2GM series, like the scouts that give you vision and still hit mineral lines. But also, the biggest reason I don't like that you did this is because you are taking such a fucking risk by doing this, because your base is like asking to die. Also, if you're doing again, I feel like I'm not even gonna say you're doing B2GM series anymore. I'm not even gonna take credit for it anymore about what you're doing, because this is now going so far off B2GM. It's kind of crazy. You're overproducing your racks like crazy, and you have a fourth though, so it's not that bad. Your racks are fine, but you're like never stopping your factory production ever, and now you're going widow mines. Don't want to be going, like, you don't need to do this. You're making it way too complicated at this point.
Mineral field depleted.
And like, you never, for instance, you never even started level 1 armor, right? And you went for like this gas priority early on in the game, which you still haven't fixed since like 4 minutes from ago, or like 3 minutes ago. You still haven't fixed it, and you still haven't even done gas priority things. Okay, you do have Simback started at least, but you haven't even started your upgrade on your other upgrade on your engineering bay. Like, this is a huge deal, man. Your economy sucks ass.
Upgrade.
You're doing it again with this racks, by the way. You gotta be really careful how you build your buildings. You can't put an add-on there. You're building the add-on in the wall. I think you're maybe a little bit too wild with where you put buildings. Try to like leave room for add-ons.
Add-on complete.
SCV ready.
Mineral field.
Your upgrades need to be starting up again. I mean, you're not having a third orbital. Also, like, okay. You not having a third orbital definitely hurts you a lot in the long run. And then you re-rallying your command centers like this repeatedly, I don't like it at all. Because you're wasting so much. Think about it like this, okay? I'm gonna show you a paint really fast. Imagine if you had like a bucket of water, and then another bucket of water, and then another bucket of water, and then another bucket of water. And imagine that someone said, I want you to fill up every bucket of water in the most efficient way possible. And this bucket of water is where it all starts, and it's already like filling up. And the easiest way you could do it is if you just tilted these buckets of water forward like this. Like, you just tilt them forward like this, all of them. And then the water goes like this, right? The water just comes out of the bucket, goes into this one. And then it goes into this one. And then it goes into this one. It just, you literally fill up each bucket of water progressively. That's how you should be managing your economy. But instead what you're doing is you're like taking a situation instead where it is like this. It's like, all right, I have a bucket of water. I have a bucket of water right here. And then I have a bucket of water over here. And you're going, and then you have like another bucket of water over here. And you're going like this. You're like, all right, well, I got this bucket of water full. Whoops. This one's full. And then I'm going to have it drain over to this one a little bit. But I'm not going to fill this one up. I'm just going to go that high right there. And then I'm going to get that much in it. And then I'm going to start pouring now into this one over here. And I'm going to fill this one up also to about that high. Right there. And then now I'm actually going to start pouring from this one back into this one again. And then we're going to try to fill that one back up. And then after that, then we're going to pour this one back into this one again. Like, you're fucking just wasting time going back. It's like you're like a scientist with test tubes going back and forth. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's not efficient. You're not doing a fucking experiment. You're just trying to get a flow of economy going forward throughout your base, which means you want to have as little travel time as possible. Imagine if your boss at your job was like, all right, I need you to go over there. And then you do it. And then your boss, when you get over there, goes, no, I need you to go back over there. And you're like, why the fuck did I come over here then? I don't know. Why did you come over here? Because the other guy told me to come over here. Oh, well, seems like we're disorganized. Like, you're wasting, like, you're doing the same job, but you're literally wasting so much time having your dude just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you've done it, like, twice now throughout this game. You did it earlier with your main base, and you're doing it again right now. And you didn't saturate your mineral lines properly in the beginning of the game either. Your economy sucks. Like, your economy is suffering so bad right now because of this. And you need to always make a third orbital for real. It is so bad to make a planetary your third. Just know this, okay? If you ever, this is a real fact. And again, Grimfaith, don't take too much offense to this. But it's true. If you've ever played a game of StarCraft and you look at the Terran's third base and it's a PF, that guy's a fucking noob. You can immediately go, oh, this guy's not very good. This guy's not that great. And the reason why is because anyone who makes a PF at their third is doing a build that makes no sense. Because a third base is so defensible with an army. And if you have a mule, each minute generates you, look at this, okay? Well, I'm going to show you a difference here, okay? This is what it's like to have 2 mules for 10 minutes. You get 5,000 minerals, right? For 10 minutes, 2 orbital commands for, this is a rough estimate, by the way. For 2 orbital commands over 10 minutes, you get a bonus 5,000 minerals. That's a lot of production that can be throwing stuff into your army and helping you do things. But now, let's see what it looks like with 3 orbitals. It's going to be 7,500, by the way. You get an extra 250 per minute for 10 minutes. Now you have 7,500 minerals over 10 minutes, and this is going to be something that's going to carry over every minute that goes beyond in the game continuously. So it only gets bigger every single minute that goes by 250 with every extra orbital command you have because of mules. And just saying, you know what? I'm going to throw away 250 minerals a minute off of my economy. I don't want it. Why? Because I'm lazy and I don't really feel like defending my base. So PF will just do it for me. Okay. Well, what if you just built fucking depots along the side of your command center and then left your army right there once you had like 150 supply or something, or like 130 supply? And what if you had like a tank here, a tank here, a tank here, and like a tank here? And you had, again, a depot wall on the side. Like, you just... It's so easy to defend this if you just try a little bit. PF third is like literally giving up automatically. It's literally like saying, I give up. I'll give you the advantage. And this only beats people who don't know how to play StarCraft. It's a weak thing to do. PFing your 4th base, though, I'll say this, though. Planetary fortressing your 4th, your 5th, your 6th, things like that, that's totally fine. And you want to know why that's totally fine? Because at that stage of the game, this is why. At that stage of the game, your army is going to be more active, which means it's going to be less defensive. And then you have more chances to take damage in your base when you're not always in the right spot at the right time, potentially. But right now, your army is defensive. And this attack you did earlier, it made no fucking sense. You should have still been defensive. So if you're defensive, why are you fucking double dipping defense with planetary fortresses? That's the shit that doesn't make sense at all. You're just weakening your economy while playing defensive. It's just literally, it's just making you have less money. That's all it's doing. It's making your overall build weaker. You're developing slower now. And you're still building the depot wall, which I like, but I don't know why you're doing it so late. Like this planetary fortress, I'm okay with the 4th base planetary fortress. But you know what's not okay? The fact that you're a 117 supply at 9 minutes. That's really low. That's super fucking low. You could probably right now be at like 150, like 160 right now. So much higher.
SCV ready. Hellbat,
You're not using these racks.
Command
You
center
also are
upgrade
never getting an
complete.
upgrade beyond Stimpack. You never even started anything beyond level 1-0, and you like rushed these fucking upgrade buildings off of 2 barracks. You're making a shitload of tech labs. You have way more tech labs than reactors for your
Mineral
racks.
field depleted. Add-on complete.
You know, obviously this goes without saying. You just gotta fix your economy, and
Add-on.
you're doing it again, right? You're rallying SCVs into the mineral line,
Complete.
and you're oversaturating again.
SCV ready.
You should be rallying down here, right? And you even have this. Remember the bucket thing I said? You even have this one rallied up here. This one is oversaturated, and you have this one pouring. You basically have a bucket of water that has like 20% of the bucket filled, and you're pouring it into a bucket that has water just pouring over the sides because it's already overflowing, and you're like, have some more.
B-boy. Hellbat, coming through. SCV ready.
Vibes pouring it on in this RA.
Coming.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's Grim Faith. He deserves it. Grim Faith deserves some stiff RA analysis, replay analysis action. Every RA deserves it. No, for some people I'm honestly a bit nicer. For some people I'm nicer, but for Grim Faith I'm a little bit more brutal with him. He deserves a little bit more brutal analysis here. But yeah. Lots of shit you can fix, Grim Faith. Your macro, your build, your style, all this shit. Definitely clean that shit up. 10 minutes at 160 supply, again, is low. My suggestion to you is listen to everything we just said and use it as a reference to like think of things to fix. And definitely, if you're trying to emulate B2GM, go back and watch it again because you are missing the beat quite a bit on some of these points. And you also make way too many Marauder. You make way too many factory units and you make way too many Marauder. You should make these when you have like 5 command centers. Like when you're on like 14 racks and like your last 4 racks from like 11, 12, 13, 14, make all tech labs. And then you already have the initial 1, so you have like 5 tech labs then. That's fine. And then you can start making Marauders then, later on in the game. But you're like rushing Marauder heavy armies really fast. And your army is so tank and Marauder heavy, and you didn't even realize it, but you were, I mean, not yet at least, you're playing against fucking mutas. That is not what you want to have. You don't want to have an army that is like 2/3 Marine, or like not even, like 50-50 Marine to Marauder. Like, look what you're producing. You're producing a Hellbat and 4 Marauders right now. That's it. No Marines. And you're fighting mutas. Now, do I expect you to know what you're fighting against? No. But if you're trying to, like, I do tell you to make Marauders in B2GM because of the potential of Ultralisk, but no one makes Ultras at minute number 5 or minute number 6. That shit happens at like minute 13, 12, which is when you should be starting to make them. You can start making Marauders for the preparation of the Zerg potentially starting to make Ultras, and you're fine. You don't need to have 30 Marauders in your bank, like in your army pocket, ready to go just in case Ultras pop out, but instead you run into like 25 Mutalisk and you're like, ah, fuck. I actually have less Marines than mutas right now. I have like 19 Marines, 25 mutas, or something like that. So you're making shit way too fast. Like this shit way too fast. You need more reactors. And you know what would be beautiful about having more reactors? It's cheaper on your gas. Mineral priority. You can scale your build better because you can expand faster and use your minerals better. More Marines, more SCVs, more command centers, more barracks, more supply depots. Mineral, 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 mineral. All mineral. No gas. So like these gas priorities that you did as well, you know, earlier on. And you're doing it again here. You're doing another gas priority here. You have 6 SCVs allocated to gas, and you have currently 5 SCVs on the mineral line. You have 5 somewhere else. I think like they're trying to come over here or something like that. They're over here too. But yeah, you like, it's so much gas. So much gas. And you're like trying to spin it with Marauders and shit. It's not ideal. So watch B2GM again. Get more ideas about flowing the build properly. Because there's definitely this is definitely diluted for sure. But with that being said, I appreciate you, Grim Faith. Okay, I love you, man. I was brutal on you. I hope it helps you, and good luck in your games going forward. And guys, thanks for watching this. Any tournament player out there who has a game, who has a like, if your builds look like this as well, make sure you're not diluting the build like this, because I'm not gonna lie, what happened here happens to a lot of people. It's not even just like, oh, this is just Grim Faith who does this. So many fucking people think they're doing a build because they're like, oh yeah, I remember this build has Marauders in it, and they're like, oh, I'll just make mass Marauders from the start. It's like, no, 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 no. We don't even make Marauders until like we're remaxing. We don't even make Marauders at all with our initial max, really. So don't fucking make like 30 Marauders when you're only at like 160 supply. But yeah, I hope it helps. Much love. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Or next video, whatever that might be. And then this was the end of the replay, so it's over now. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Much love. Adios, guys. And peace.